Okey, Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi DXN. Good morning DXN. Okey, terima kasih. Thank you very much for all our beloved DXN family because every day stay live and stay support and commit to DXN Malaysia Facebook. Terima kasih kepada semua yang setiap hari bersama kita di Facebook DXN Malaysia. So every day we live stream dengan berbagai-bagai tajuk, okay, variety of program, of topic that we covered, skills, knowledge and also motivation in online platform. We are still dalam PKP, still dalam MCO. So hopefully semua stay safe, yeah, and of course stay healthy with DSL product. Apa khabar semua? How are you feeling right now? No problem. You can type how are you feeling right now, and of course the three things you have to do. Tiga benda yang selalu kita cakap yang anda kena buat. Okay, very simple thing, three simple thing. Okay, tak nampak kan? Okay, the simple things. So kita keep repeat because kita nak our viewers increase and kita punya traffic di DSM Malaysia Facebook tinggi because it create a new branding and secara tak langsung indirectly we can promote our business, we can promote our DSN live. So let's share more, okay, and don't forget to comment to greeting our friend, good morning, and state where are you from. Where are you live right now? You are from Seremban, just state good morning from Seremban, good morning from Telintan, good morning from everywhere in the world. Okay, maybe you are from Dubai. Okay, good morning from Dubai, from Nepal, from Philippines. Okay, because DSN is one world, one market. And then with the greeting of good morning, okay, the special greeting that identify we are DXN, we are in one family everywhere with one slogan, good morning. Okay, and then please there no problem, you can share anywhere in your Facebook. Maybe you can share to your, maybe you have a page, okay, and your page the likers is more, so you can share to the page. And also you can watch party, okay, just click watch party on your handphone, and then you can ask your friend to watch party with you. So because tonight is very special, we covered product knowledge, which is super duper product, okay, because the ingredient is very superb, and then the product also very very powerful. So today we bring the expert to talk about this special product. All right, so before that, of course, we have to highlight and keep remind the weekly class or weekly online program. Today is Thursday, so after this we will live with Star Diamond Mr. Ganesh to talk about lignosus, or today we focus on lignosus sirah. Ada orang kata buat batuk DSN, no problem, because this is very very organic and very very powerful product. And tomorrow is Friday. Of course, tomorrow we will have one more international speaker. We bring from Philippines, the youngest current ambassador in Philippines, Mr. McQueen Lopez. So to talk a story about his inspiration, and we can learn new tips, super duper motivation from our guest speaker, Crown Ambassador, Mr. McQueen Lopez. Tomorrow, where? In DSN Malaysia Facebook. So stay tuned and stay online with DSN Malaysia. And then Saturday, this is the last Saturday in June. So don't forget to plot and keep online, stay online at 3:30 p.m. We will be with our Madam Jane, Triple Crown Diamond Manager, to share his DSN life in through DSN Okay, so this is a good chance for us to learn and get inspired from his success story. And also we ask about, because Madam is expert also in health. So many things we can ask Madam Jane, and this coming Saturday. Okay, Sunday. Okay, Sunday, of course, Sunday. This is Sunday. Sunday, we have one more. There's a kitchen. And then this Sunday, we will be with Madam Kogi to share a special menu using all DSN product. Okay. Oh, right. And of course, last but not least, I have to thanks all of you that grab the opportunity of 100% redemption promo. So now you have the redemption value, and you can use that from this month, June. So congratulations for those really super grab this opportunity, because this is a global promotion for all of the DXN distributor, DXN family. Mm. Okay, let's see. Maybe I left out something to share with you, but don't forget uh to congratulate our founder, Dr. Lim Xiao Jin, has been mandated as a goodwill ambassador to support malnutrition project, which is DSN has supply and sponsor spirulina, okay, to reduce and to support this malnutrition campaign, especially in Africa. So proud to be DSN. And of course, this is a good point for us to share to the market, to the public, that we are one of the largest ganoderma companies support the world humanitarian project, yeah, especially in spirulina. Okay, so I think that's all from me. So, guys, we would like to welcome our star diamond, Mr. Ganesh. He's joined the Essence since 2016, 2016. So have a clinic, okay, also practicing iridology and also gynotherapy. Okay, just let's just welcome our guest speaker. Okay, selamat pagi Mr. Ganesh, ataupun ada yang panggil Dr. Ganesh, no problem. How are you, Doctor?
I'm good. I'm good. Zachary, how are you?
Great. Thank you.
Hope,
So I think before we go to your presentation, let us see some greeting from our viewers. Where are they live now? Okay,
sure.
so maybe this can increase the spirit. Okay. Let's okay. Good morning, DSN. Okay, so this is a good greeting. Let's just see. Maybe say put some good morning, DSN family. This is from Jakarta, Doctor. Okay, because from this audience we can see either to talk more on in BM or in English, because mostly from Malaysia, Indonesia. So we have from Pakistan, DSM Pakistan. Right, Jakarta. This one very far from Malacca. Okay, doctor. So I think I will pass this session to you.
Okay,
So
Zachary.
let us one more time welcome Star Diamond, Dr. Ganesh.
Sure.
Please, thank you.
Okay, Zachary. Thanks a lot, Zachary. Okay, hi everyone. I just would like to make my first greeting. A very good morning to everyone, to all my DXN families. During this MCO, even we are stay apart, and then I think this platform is like actually making us to connect together. And then would you like to thank to DXN? Would you like to thank to Zachary, especially my leaders, and also Dr. Fidas, who given me this beautiful opportunity for me to share something about our products here. Okay, my topic will be very specific today. It's on the lignosus plus syrup. Right, so I believe everyone knows what is the lignosus is. So so let's talk, and then we start with our slide, and then it will be more easier to explain about the. Okay, so let's move on this the details about this DXN lignosus plus syrup. So as everyone knows, we can see in the boxes also is written is a traditional remedy for relieving the cough. Is 100% herbal based coughing syrup, and it's a special formulation with tiger milk mushroom, which is the name also Lignosus rhinoceros. And most importantly is about other well-known 16 types of the herbs, which is I'm going to elaborate later about that 16 types of that herbs. And it is traditionally used to reducing the phlegm, relieving the cough and the hoarseness, as well as the soothing the sore throat. It's suitable for children, adults, and the senior citizens, and it's non-drowsy. And very proud to say, and this is the first coughing syrup in Malaysia market that containing tiger milk mushroom. Okay, so this is the first finding, and hats off to DXN to make such a perfect formulations in this lignosus plus syrup. All right. Okay, and then the packaging, we talk about the packaging. The content is about 120 ml per bottle, right? So the best part is the each 15 ml contains the rest of the 16 types of the herbs that we're going to discuss soon, right? Okay. Let's look at these ingredients, which is each 15 ml of the DXN lignosus plus syrup contains about this 16 of these herbs, which is the scientific name. We also very rare listen on heard about the name of these herbs. All right, it's actually found by a very ancient time. Actually, these things are also already found by our ancestors, and they used is as a food and as a medicine to treat certain diseases. All right, so let me go to the first herbal, which is I find here is really interesting. Okay, the name by the Glycyrrhiza glabra and the Glycyrrhiza urulensis. What is this Glycyrrhiza? Is actually, it is actually the licorice. I think all of you heard about the licorice. All right, licorice is actually a versatile medicine whereby it's rich in flavonoids. It's a sweet wood. Actually, it's 50 times more sweeter than the sugar. If you all use in the water will be contaminated, become a sweeter. It's actually very sweet taste. Okay, and then I just want to little touch on this glycerizer usage on the Chinese traditional medicine as well as in Indian traditional medicines in Ayurveda and Siddha. We call Ayurveda is commonly known as Yastimadu, or in Tamil is Adimaduram. Right? So it has been written in some of the books in the ancient time. There has been written like in Ayurveda they call Charaka Samhita and Shushut Samhita. These herbs actually promote the longevity. It's a Jivanaya. I think it's something new word to everyone. I just want to share. It's very interesting. Actually, this glycerizer it actually can promote the longevity for the human being. Okay, and then it is known to be an effective herb to resolve the respiratory complications, and it is soothing effects on the throat as well as pharynx. Okay, good to treating cough, hoarseness of the voice, chest congestion, sore throat bronchitis, chronic bronchitis, and whooping cough. It is really helping in boost the immune systems and importantly for asthma and the various allergic reactions. Okay, look at these two, glycerizer glabra and glycerizer urolensis. Okay, we have used about 223.0 mg of the glabra and the 211.0 mg of the urolensis. Okay, both are actually used on the radix part. Okay, we review back on the pharmacologically effects on the glycerizer radix and the bioactive compound. It has about 15 active compounds. The 15 bioactive components is actually we have can be seen the two important one is the tripenine saponins. What is that is actually very the terms is quite hard to understand, but I just make it very easy. It is actually antimicrobial properties. It actually can protect from the fungi and the bacteria viruses, and it also stimulates the production of the T cell. So everyone must know what is the T cell is. There is a lymphocyte that is in the essential part of our immune system. So very important part in the white blood cell. Okay, and talking about the flavonoids is from the plant, and it also provides a health benefit through the cell signaling pathway and the antioxidants effects, like what we can see from the onions, kale, grapes, tea, chocolates, berries, tomatoes. So all these have the flavonoids. So basically, these both are actually helping the body system to reduce the risk of the cancer, the heart disease, asthma, and the stroke, and the protect the brain as well. Okay. So what are the important part here is the review of the, you look at the review of the glycerizer glabra and the urolensis in Ayurveda and Siddha systems, and also the Chinese traditional systems, medicines. It is actually helping on the respiratory system. Okay. When talk about the respiratory systems, it always comes with the problem and the blockage of the airways, like the airways diseases, asthma, and the chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, call it a COPD. The people, this patient will be very hard to breathe. And then the lungs tissue diseases. It is actually affect all the structure of the lungs tissues, and also the most hard one is the lung fibrosis, whereby there's no medication so far for the lung fibrosis. And then the lung circulation diseases like the pulmonary hypertension. There's a short of the breath. The people are actually, they will have the problem with the breathing problem. The most common lung disease is the asthma, which is commonly, we can see so many people having this issue, and a pneumothorax. Pneumothorax is actually a collapse. The part of the whole lung systems will be collapsed. And also look at the bronchitis, the COPD, lung cancers, pneumonia, pulmonary edema, and then the pulmonary embolism, which is PE. PE will have a very big lesion on the lungs, whereby you will end up with the very hard situation to help. They help in the eliminating a phlegm and also the excessive mucus. So basically, just tackling on the respiratory systems. This review of the glycerizer glabra in the urolensis, this component has been added in our lignosus plus is really helpful for our respiratory systems and also for the endocrine system, as well as the antiviral system, hyperlipidemia system. Hyperlipidemia is actually controlling the cholesterol level in the body. And anti-cancer, it acts as a oral systemic, and then for nervous system as well as the digestive system. So talk about the second one. This glycerizer glabra will help hyperlipidemia. So we see our people, our patients, sometimes we see the condition where the blood has too many lipids. If you do the blood test, we can see that the reading will be so high on the triglycerides or too much of the LDL. Hypercholesterolemia or increases the fatty deposit on the arteries. This will cause the heart blockage always. So when we have used this glycerizer glabra in the urolensis essence on this lignosus plus, will have significantly reduced the presence of the triglycerides. So basically, it helps on the respiratory system, is help on the hyperlipidemia issues. Okay, and talk about the digestive system. Those days, I think in the TCM is very wisely has been used this glycerizer route, but also in Ayurveda, very wisely they have been used these routes to support the good health of the digestive tract, whereby it lower down the acid level in intestines. So many people have issues on the gut issue. Okay, dyspepsia. What is that? It's actually the gas reflux on the systems, whereby the GI tract will be very weak, and they will have this a week of the digestive tract systems. So it is also good to manage the problem in the indigestion and the heartburn. So basically, we know already the lignosus plus is actually not only act as the coughing syrup, but it also can be used for to control the cholesterol level, to control the endocrine systems, and then it acts as an anti-cancer and also to control the digestive systems. Okay, next we can move on the another thing, which is the we call it a Trichocentrus kirilovi. This is another herb. It is actually stated in the one of the 50 fundamental herbs in the TCM. TCM is the traditional Chinese medicines. They are very wisely they have been used. This is very well known as the snake goat fruit, and then it is actually said to drain the lung heat. It can transform the phlegm and also moisten the lung dryness, resolve the toxicity, and expel the pus. So the targeted maritime is directly on the respiratory systems. Okay, so I can see these lignosus plus. Now we have another component now which is really good in helping on the lungs-based diseases. Okay, so here we can see on the key deficiencies. And in Chinese traditional medicine, they have this explanation on this. The key deficiency actually is the drain the lung heat. The moment it can help on the drain the lung heat, is helping on the respiratory system. So to get a better to get a better systems on the functions of the respiratory. So another one, what we can see here, I put a reference there. It's actually the extract have been shown to damage the protein coat on the RNA of the AIDS virus. So this is something very interesting also. So that means that these herbs is actually have the capability to damage the protein coat on the RNA of the AIDS virus. So we just imagine some other viruses, which is recently also we are having facing some viruses also. So it's like very clearly can show. So anyone maybe you have an interest, maybe can look at a reference there. So it will be very detailed and how the process is and all that. Okay. And the trichocentrus actually can reduce the sputum production and the swellings, and it has the detox property. It's anti-inflammation and the antioxidative as well. So it has been very long used in the Korea medicine to loosen the bowel and relieve the chronic constipation. The effects of an ethanolic extract from this seed is against the colorectal cancer and its mechanism. So this is another part which is very important. So we can use the lignosus product now to tackle any digestive related issues. So trichocentrus cement reduces sputum production and swelling and has the detox properties. It also have an anti-inflammatory and also antioxidative effects. So the oxidation is what is actually the free radicals. The moment the free radicals enter, it will actually destroy the cell level. So what will happen? The cell will become abnormal and the carcinogenic, and also the activation of the cancer cells. So this is actually a protecting. This herbs is really good to protect the cancer cells as well. Yeah. So it has been traditionally used for treatment of the diabetes in TCM. In Chinese traditional medicine, they use this fructus of the Trichocentrus kirilovi to treat the diabetic patient. Then they have the results. It shows a very hypoglycemic effects and insulin receptor. That means it's lower down the sugar level in the blood. Okay. So targeted meridian. So I put it here as a respiratory and the digestive system. So very direct. The functions we can see to clear the heat and resolve the phlegm, and is to moisten the dryness and move the feces. After that, you regulate the key in the chest and it's release the nodules. So the respiratory system will restore back in the human body systems. All right. So I can see that there's another one is the diabetes metabolic syndrome. Because we can, as everyone knows, the type 1 and the type 2, whereby the pancreas does not produce enough insulin and the body cannot effectively utilize the insulin. So only the two conditions about it. But about 2.5 to 15% of the medical expenditure in many countries now attributed to diabetes. It's become like the economy ready. So because many drugs currently used in the treatment, however, some reference indicate that synthetic drugs is responsible for various adverse effects. So I think only the organic way is helping on these issues. Okay, so we move on to the next one, which is I found the another herbaceous plant, which is Maurice alba. We use about 206.0 mg of the part is the cortex, the part of the Maurice alba. It's known as a white mulberry. I believe everyone knows about this. I think you've seen that these fruits in so many places. So it is a natural cough remedy and a sore throat relief. They have been used this mulberry fruit to make as a natural cough remedy and for sore throat to relieve the pain. Okay, it has been widely used in 19th century, widely used, established in the North America, and a very common use in Ayurveda system of medicine. Be well known as a Brahmataru for chronic bronchitis and other lungs and respiratory related illnesses. Even they have make a decoctions as well to make it as a drink to relieve this from these illnesses. Okay, it has the wise medicinal property for digestion, the potency, actions, and balance the vata. Okay, we talk about the vata is one of the character in Ayurveda, which is a different topic. So I just make it very simple. The vata is actually the management of one of the managements in the body. Okay, so TCM widely used to help the balance blood sugar level and weight loss management, and it boosts the WBC, the white blood cell, and it is a good source of vitamin C, K, fiber, protein, and the iron. Okay. So it has another important thing is it can suppress the mutagenesis of the carcinogens. Okay, this is about the cancer cell. Okay. Berries actually contain a powerful antioxidant. Okay, and then these antioxidants actually help the body to age, make very slowly, and then it prevent wrinkles and extending the longevity. So basically, it's talking about the longevity, and the alkaloids within the fruits actually is boosts the WBC as we talked just now. It's about the white blood cell, and then it prevent from the catching as many infections or the colds. Right? So it acts also as the natural cough medicine and cure a sore throat very quickly. In the we can see the iron from the cortex also can boost the body's production of the red blood cells, which is I'm not never stated here. It actually can produce the RBCs in the body, the iron, and then it's commonly used in Ayurveda tradition system as a main what is that, the herbs to produce some of the medicines. Okay. So we can see the pharmacological activity, including it is anti-diabetic and it's antimicrobial, anti-mutagenic, antioxidant, anti-cancer, and there's so many. And which last is really tackle our liver also, yeah, because it's a hepatoprotective. We can protect our liver. All right, so we move on. So the targeted Maridine, I put it here as a respiratory system, digestive, antiviral, hyperlipidemia, and anti-cancer. Right. So we move on to the next one, which is the next plant. Okay, it is Blanchander sinensis. We use 206.0 mg, and the part we have used is the radix, the root part. Actually, it is a perennial herbs. What is the perennial herbs? It means a plant that can stay on the earth for a long time. Actually, it can have a very high longevity. We also well known as the blackberry lily or leopard lily. It's a medicinal ornamental plant. So from found in northern India, also in Vietnam, China, Korea, and Japan. But very special, they have been used in Ayurveda, and we very well known as the Kokka Mantare. So people who are practicing Ayurveda, I think he knows this better. And usually the rhizomes of the Blanchander sinensis is much used against the inflammations, okay, of the throat, and then the upper respiratory tract, such as laryngitis, pharyngitis, and tonsillitis, cough, and the asthma. So basically, it's a help for the upper respiratory infections. So Vietnam, the country, they use for purifying the blood and also to again the swollen liver and spleen. So it's a hepatoprotective. Okay, and then in Malaysia for treatment they use for gonorrhea, and in Indonesia they used to chew with the petal leaf after the childbirth, and they given, I think they give to the mother, uh, and then they apply as a medicinal bath after the childbirth also. Okay, but here is something is taking my attention is in Ayurveda and Siddha. The decoction of this plant actually formulated with this extract considered as a diuretic. Yeah? So it's considered as an external treatment also for inflammation. By how do they make they prepare the formulation to like a poultice, and then like the Ayurveda paste is like a paste, and then they make it apply on the body parts to treat the hand body lumbar spinal sedation process. It's like the pictures here, or one can see here. Okay, this plant is have this capability to reduce the inflammations. All right. And we have another one is this on the Blanchender sinensis. Look at the ethnopharmacology and the phytochemistry and the pharmacology of the important on the stated in TCM in the traditional Chinese medicine. Okay? The TCM uses a form of antipyretic agent. That means it's like a fever medicine. Okay, like an antidote for certain infections. As what is it? Expectorant is actually to flu or any sputum issues, and then it's also a antiphlogistic and the analgesic as well. So for the pain management. So all this actually this herbs is helping on the body systems. The major isolated compounds have been identified as isoflavonoids, flavonoids, and iridyl type of terpenoids. So all these actually some components which is actually needs by the body for the function. Okay, it's very detailed. So I think just move on the next. Okay. So the wide range of the pharmacological activity and including it is anti-inflammatory, antioxidative, anti-tumor, and anti-alcohol injury, and it's protect the cardio and also the osteogenic activities. Right. So found here, Blanchender chinensis also have a very wise benefit for human being, which is we have actually added about 206.0 mg the essence in our lignosus plus syrup. Okay. So the targeted paradigm, as I explained just now, it's actually can be used to tackle any issues with the respiratory systems. It is actually a hepatoprotective, and it's also nephro because it's a diuretic agent, can be used. Right? Okay, we just move on the next one, which is also another plant we see a very beneficial for human being. We call it a Fritillaria chirosa. It's about 206.0 mg also. They use the bulbous. Okay, use of this part to make essence in our lignosus plus. Actually, we well known as in Himalaya as a Himalayan medicinal species. So look at the plant also is already a medicinal species. Very extensively in Chinese herbology, they have been used in the Chinese herbology system, and has very powerful biological activities. It can nourish the lungs, resolve the phlegm, and relieve the cough. Right? It is the antitussive. What is the antitussive? Is actually antitussive is actually a natural uh, bronchodilator and a mucolytic, basically to clear off the sputum or the testis. Okay, and then it is an anti-inflammatory effect as well, and it inhibits the cough frequency and increase the latent period of the cough. Okay, why it can be have this function is actually because it have the same function as how the modern medications are preparing the coughing syrup. Actually, they including this salbutamol and the bromexin. I believe all of you, I think, well known about this. Salbutamol and bromexin is actually two mediums. Both have been used for treatment of the cough. Salbutamol is actually a bronchodilator, and the function is actually it's relax the muscles in the airways and widen the airways. And then the bromexin is actually a mucolytic. It's actually thins and loosens the mucus and the phlegm, so it makes easier to cough out. That means it works in that way, but somehow it has a side effects. Using of the salbutamol and the bromexin in the modern preparations actually may cause some dizziness and the sleepiness, like a drowsiness, and also you can get an imbalance in the blood glucose level. So it's not advisable for a person with a diabetic issue or a history with a thyroidism or the heart diseases. So they have to get the physician's advice before the consuming the salbutamol or bromexin formulated coughing syrups. Okay, what's taking my attention is the both functions actually naturally can be seen in the lignosus plus syrup. It's actually naturally we have this the both function of the expectorant and the antithesis in the lignosus plus syrup. So the expectorant, like the bromexin is actually it's a bronchial secretions enhancer. The moment it's enhanced, and then is slowly we relieve all the phlegm and the relieve the cough. For the antithesis is actually the salbutamol is naturally lignosus plus is already the fritillaria actually producing this is giving a stimulation for the cough center, whereby it's actually tackle the cough center suppressants in the brain. It's actually so it will reduce the urge to cough. So how the thing is actually working. The comparison is actually from the conventional and the traditional way of the preparation of this coughing syrup. So I'm very glad to say that DXN have made a very good formulations and the decoctions for the coughing syrup. So Fritillaria curiosa is actually, I put it here as a targeted paradigm directly for the respiratory issue. So people who have these issues on the respiratory system, they should have this lignosus plus syrup to see the differences. Okay, it is actually very suitable to relief of the wind, heat of the which is affecting the lungs. Frequent and a severe cough, heavy breath and hoarseness and dry sore throat, and the sticky or yellow phlegm, sweat while the cough, nasal discharge, and so many things you can see on the upper respiratory tract infections, URTI. So the decoctions actually can treat the corresponding diseases and has an obvious curable effects. It also have these anti-tumor effects on the Fritillaria curiosa bulbus on the lungs carcinoma cells. How we do actually is by inhibiting the proliferations of the UC cells. The proliferations is actually like a chemotherapy, suppressing some cells of the carcinogenic cells. Right. So let's move on the next. Okay. I'm just missed on this. This is actually effects of the Fritillaria curiosa bulbus on the lungs tissue. These are some of the experiments done on the lab with the lab mice. You see, they induce the murine model of the asthmatic. Will become the lab mice will become a asthmatic model, and then they will do this, induce this Fritillaria curiosa bulbus, the essence, and then see what is the result is actually they indicated could act as the potential immunomodulators with the anti-inflammatory and anti-asthmatic properties. So it's quite detailed. Maybe it's too hard for us to understand here, but what we can see, there's some changes on the image. So maybe later, maybe we can have a look on this clearly. Okay, all these lab experiments, always at least minimum by 2 weeks, they will get the result on this. Okay. So we move on the next one is the another herbaceous plant. We call it a Stimona sessilifolia, which is the we have used about 206.0 mg the radix part. Okay, it also known as Stimona japonica. We use the root extract. It's actually sweet and bitter in flavor and slightly warm. That's the nature of the plant is actually. It is used to moistening the lung and relieving the cough and killing the worms. Right? So they used also for acute and chronic cough and whooping cough. Wide use in Chinese traditional medicine and considered in one of the system's 50 fundamental herbs. They have this 50 fundamental herb, and also stated that is one of the important herbs, and more focus the usage on the lungs and the respiratory concern. A similar route actually used to treat asthma and chronic and acute cough, ventilate the lungs. The concentrated decoction is to mitigate and improve airways rebuilding in the lungs of the COPD by inhibit the release of the inflammatory mediators. So what we can see from here is actually directly benefiting for the respiratory systems, right? And it actually have the therapeutic value to combat the virus and the bacteria. It's eliminating the sputum, stop the cough, and then relax the bronchial smooth muscles. Right? So in TCM, they have used for pinworms issues as a nature herbs usage, but that's a bit different. I just want to share the information alone. This is what they use the 30 ml is 100% decoctions of this Stimena sicilifolia, and then they make it like an enema before sleep daily for 5 days. What is the enema? Is actually the inserts through the rectal area. Yeah? So that is the one of the treatment to clear the pinworms. So it's actually the targeted methadone we see here is helping on the respiratory and the digestive system. So we move on the next one, which is number 8. It actually, we use the folium. Folium means the leaf. They make it a dry leaf, and then we take a 206.0 mg from the Aereobacteria japonica. What is this? Actually, is it's from native southeastern China fruit. You can see, and then it is a native herbs utilized to soothing the sore throat, and then the treatment of the cough, and also for chronic bronchitis. It have very wise anti-inflammatory, anti-hypoglycemic, antioxidant, is anti-tumor, antiviral, and then so on. We can see it's a nephropathy and hyperlipidemia. So most of the issues that what we can see nowadays, we can see the most problems comes in the respiratory systems. And due to the hyperlipidemia system, we have some other connected issues, and the antiviral. So all these important components we can see from this herbaceous plant. Okay, and it also acts as an expectorant and an antitussive, because the dried leaf actually extensively giving a very good result on the coughing and the expectoration in the mice. Right? So using the lab mice to test, actually it contains a very high content of tritapinode acid, induce a stronger antitussive activity. So what we can see here, I just want to share on the study of the activities. They're using these herbs to see what is the hypoglycemic effect and the anti-diabetic. And basically, it's about the diabetes, the sugar level in the body. Okay, the result actually they shown a very significant decrease in the blood glucose level after this streptozotocin process. What is this? Actually, streptozotocin is actually inducing the rats, the lab rats, to become a diabetic. That's very simple, right? So after the induced of these herbs, and then they see the effects of the hypoglycemic and the diabetes level. So the result is actually they show they see the a decrease in the blood glucose level, and then the pathology of the pancreas also showed positive result, and also these herbs is improving and effective control in the blood glucose and the lipid profile. So I think you have a very good benefit for the body systems, and also have a hypoglycemic and the anti-hyperlipidemia effect. So have remarkable decrease in the triglycerides, and then it is increase in high density lipoprotein, the HDL, which is the body actually needs. So looking at these effects and the studies of these activities, this essence actually we have made formulated in our TXN lignosus plus actually. So isn't it good? So it's actually, I see the very wise benefit for us. And then The results also is actually shows a very reduction after the analysis. Something the studies of these activities. So this is the proof is actually. So we go on the next one, which is the uh, most important part, which is the name was formed for the lignosus plus syrup is actually from the lignosus rhinoceros, which is we use 202.0 mg from the mycelium. The part of the mycelium from the body, you can see the lignosus rhinoceros. Actually, the most the rich part is the mycelium part. Okay. So, as we know, it is actually a national treasure mushroom. It is identified as a prized medicinal mushroom as well. Have been used to treat a variety of ailments by local and natives in Malaysia. Uh, so it has very wise components for the human being. It actually has singled out one of the most potent mushroom for medicinal purposes 400 years ago. So they found a very good components from this mushroom to treat varieties of these diseases. White usage is an antipruritic for the skin, antipyretic for the like a fever, and then it's anti-cancer for the let's say food poisoning, swollen breast, chronic bronchitis, for the cough, asthma, wound healing, general tonic, and the immune booster. But the usage is really limited. Usage is limited because according to the folk stories, what we know, the name is based on the story where the actually the fungus is grows on the spot where the tigress drips milk while they're feeding the cubs. So the spot where the milk is actually drips, we can see the growth of this fungus actually. But then the species is actually very rare due to the growth habit and the distance between one fruit body and another is less than 5 kilometers. So this is what actually making hard to get the um, the usage. It's actually limited due to the unavailability. It's very hard to find. It's actually it is actually rich in the nerve growth factor and stimulate neuro activities. All right, have a very high antioxidant property and a stronger growth inhibitory effects against various cancer cell lines. It have anti-inflammatory, high molecular weight protein inhibit the tumor necrosis factor alpha. That means anti-inflammations. And have a very good component on the immunomodulating, whereby the polysaccharides actually stimulate on the human immune systems as well as anti-tumor. Right? And it is an antioxidant component to prevent oxidative stress, and in anti-proliferative to inhibit the cell growth effects on the tumor cells. So we have findings on the some of the findings I even from the Google Scholar also. There's a very useful information on the lignosus rhinoceros. Actually, they're having a research center on this mushroom especially, and then the research is still being done. And then I found one of the Department of Molecular Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Malaya also having a very wise research on these mushrooms. Okay, and you can see a word. It's a journal I found from the one of the collections here from S.T. Chang. They have been written about Lignosus rhinoceros mushroom. He said, without the leaf, without the bud, without the flower, yet they form a fruit as a food, as a tonic, as a medicine. The entire creation is precious. So I think there's a very deep meaning on the word has been given. That means it's showing that Lignosus rhinoceros definitely have a very wise benefit for human being. Okay, so we can see this. It is anti-asthmatic effect, anti-diabetic effect, anti-cancer, and a cytotoxicity against the human breast adenocarcinoma cell lines. Uh, and it have an inhibitory function against the leukemia cell lines. It's rich in carbohydrate and dietary fiber, and also a prebiotic for gastrointestinal health. So you can see where this is actually Lignosus rhinoceros is helping on the respiratory systems, on the digestive systems, and is the anti-asthmatic effect to diabetic management, anti-cancer, and then on the carbohydrate and the dietary fiber. It's very rich in the carbohydrates and the dietary fiber. So look at these components. We found the compounds present in the lignosus rhinoceros. The alkane is 53%, is very rich, which is the need for the body functions. And then the enzymes activity of the lignosus rhinoceros here, we can see the metabolism is about 79.25 rate, which is 66.9%. You see, very high. It's actually for the body systems as well. And the classification of proteins in the lignosus rhinoceros is actually, we can see the general function. This is just a prediction only. It's just a prediction, but it's saying that the general function is high, right? And then we can see the classification of the proteins in the rhinoceros is in the genes ontology. The highest number of matched genes on the genetic information, specifically in replications and repair. So this is the classification of the protein of the lignosus rhinoceros. And then we see the another study on the toxicity. They said in 180 days chronic toxicity is, the study is telling that there is no any adverse effect on the body weight, hematology, the clinical biochemistry, relative organ weight, histological studies. So what it's all about is actually there's no any changes after uh, um, the oral feeding of the scleroshell powder. Okay, it means that it never give any adverse effect for the body. Yes? And it did not exhibit any anti-fertility or teratogenic effects in the rat that I've used in the lab. And then it also not exhibit any genotoxicity on the AIMS test. So all these toxicity studies is saying that there's no any adverse effect for the body systems, and it's actually benefiting the body systems. All right, and then we move on. We just look at this active biocomponents here. It's just showing that we have a higher level of a beta glucan from the lignosus rhinoceros mycelium. See, I have the parts of these types, scleroshells, pilus, and the mycelium. So they look at the samples here. The higher level of the beta glucans is high is the myceliums, and then the high level of the linolenic acid from the lignosus rhinoceros myceliums is look at it there. The linolenic acid is very high. So this is also a very important component which is needed by the body as a phytonutrients to help the systems. Okay, look at this. Is maybe this overview look very complicated for everyone, but just make it a simple look here. Look at here the proteins and the polysaccharide systems, and the beta glucans and the ethanol extract taken from the myceliums. It shows that the plants is actually the mushroom is actually giving a very high act on the as anti-cancer, is anti-tumor activity, is actually anti-inflammation, it's enhance the immune systems, and the rest of the things we can see is antiviral activity also, right? So what you can see is they actually lignosus rhinoceros is actually giving very wise benefits, and the exhibits significant higher antioxidants and the stronger growth inhibitory effects for the human being. So this history of the use of these tiger milk mushrooms actually dated to almost 400 years ago. It's not an easy thing. So actually it's quite hidden, which is not revealed by so generally. Okay. So the function is actually good to inhibit the cell growth effects on the tumor cells, which for me, I feel like it is good for any cancer cells activities. It's against the leukemia cells, and it's also against the breast cancer cells, and also against the lung cancer cells. So this has been proved by the Department of the Molecular Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Malaya. Okay, and then we can check on that even in the Google Scholar as well. Okay, so asthma effects actually worldwide, and resulted complex interplay between the genetic and the environmental factors. So I see like the current medications are mainly based on the steroids and other types of anti-inflammatory drugs. Among inhale things that you use like the corticosteroids to suppress the chronic airways inflammation. Though the persistence use of this and the higher doses often leads to a various systemic and the local side effects. It actually can lead to a candidiasis also like a what is that skin related issues or osteoporosis or growth retardations or cataract and the pharyngitis. Actually, it's effects on the basically a few major systems in the body, including the digestive, the respiratory systems, the circulation systems, and the rest of the 13 systems in the body. Okay. Uh, so those we really need a safe alternative way. The management of the asthma is really needed. So the answer is actually the lignosus rhinocerotis is actually have to look in a very large scale, and the usage of the this mushroom in the medicine value is very high, and it is actually most prevalent uh, diagnosis worldwide, and approximately is actually can kill all these cancer cells related diseases, right? As a Ganoderma lucidum, Lignosus rhinoceros genome also is a potentially with tritopenoids biosynthesis genes. Okay, what to say is actually it has the same components as the Ganoderma lucidum. Similarly, the enzyme found actually implicate in the biosynthesis of the ganoderic acids, okay, which are the bioactive triterpenes in the Ganoderma lucidum. So this suggests that Lignosus rhinoceros is actually potential tritopenoid source. So all the genomic analysis has been done. It is shown it provides the foundation for the future research and the exploitation of these rhinoceros in the pharmacological and the functional food applications in future. Okay, so this is about the Lignosus rhinoceros. We found this actually I strongly suggest that Lignosus rhinoceros is a high potential in the tritopenoid source. So it's helping in the, all of the system for the body. Okay, and this is quite interesting thing, which is I found this our Malaysia former Prime Minister also shared about his health secret on the tiger milk mushroom. It's Batun Mahathir Mohamad. So I have he put his a statement here as a trained practitioner of modern medicine. I'm so sorry. As a trained practitioner of modern medicine, I should not be saying this, but I used to suffer from chronic intractable cough accompanied by running nose and a lung infection. What we call modern medication took a long time to stop the cough, but persuaded by a Chinese friend, I took Chinese medicine and the cough stopped. When I had another attack, I tried the medicine again and again it worked. I tried to find out what the medicine made of, and I was told that it was tiger milk. Okay, so actually the wonders of the tiger milk mushrooms has given benefited our former Prime Minister, Dr. Tun Mahathir Mohamad. They're also a doctor by the profession. So it was very wisely used as a traditional remedy for respiratory problem. So take note, it is actually have a major components to help on the respiratory related issues. Okay, we move on the next herbs, which is I found have been used 196.0 mg of the part the radix of the Aster Okay, it is actually a medicinal herbs flower plant. The root is actually contain triterpenes and triterpene saponin. It's taken internally in the treatment of the chronic bronchitis and the tuberculosis. It contains tritopene, which is anti-cancer activity. Okay, so the targeted paradigm can be said is actually can be tackle the any respiratory related ailments, and it is a stimulant expectorant herb for bronchial system, help to clear infections, antibacterial, antifungal, antitussive. Okay, so all of this is actually related to the respiratory system. So it also inhibits the growth of the Staphylococcus aureus, E. coli, Bacillus, and the Pseudomonas. What is this? All this actually a bacteria. All this bacteria actually will be stay in our nutritive zone, in the stomach zone, And some of it is actually harmless. Like E. coli is not, it is harmless, but a certain is actually giving some abnormalities, activities in the body, and then it creates some malfunctions for the absorptions of the nutrition. So what will happen is the body can't absorb any nutrition and giving some side effects for the body. Some people will tend to fall for the diarrhea and then some other infections and fall for fevers as well. Right. And we move on the next one is the glandular literalis. Actually, the use of the radix also 196 mg. The part of the glandular literalis is actually known as the American silver stop, and northern China also they're using this since the 17th century. Well known as a Bai Sha Shen. That's the name of the TCM. It is actually directly can be said it's a very good lung care. It nourishes lung yin, clears lung heat, a dry and non-productive cough and yin deficiency. All this is actually in the terms of the TCM. To be said, it's basically it's about the respiratory imbalance or any problem with the respiratory issue. It clears chronic cough. It is actually can cure the hemoptysis. It's actually the blood and then blood cough, and it has been used alone for lung heat cough and for weak pulse and the cold limbs after the blood loss. And also a stomach care. It nourishes stomach in. It generates fluids for the dry mouth and thirst irritation. It's all is actually oral care. And then to take caused by the yin deficiency. Yin is actually imbalances in the yin and yang. Actually, the balance, the key health concept in the Chinese traditional medicine. The similarity also can be seen in the balance doshas in the key health of the Ayurveda. Is actually basically the fundamental same. Okay, only the concept is a little differ. The rest of the systems is same. So we can easily I can understand the yin is actually the deficiency is actually the heat. While what happened will the heat actually increase in the lung system, and then it will become dry, and then it will produce the actually the cough or any sputums or related. Okay. And it also another major targeted paradigm for the digestive systems. It's actually helpful for the any abnormalities on the digestive systems. Okay, and then we move on, and the next one is the Momodica grosvenori. This is the fructose. We use the fruits, which is 196.0 mg, has been formulated in our lignosus plus serum. Is actually well known as the magic monk fruit. It's very wide used in the TCM. It helps to treat acute or chronic throat inflammations, chronic cough, removal of the phlegm, antitussive, expectorant, and then treat congested lungs. It's very direct for respiratory issue, and it helps on the constipation, eliminate or relieve digestive stress. It helps for the digestive system. And then it is actually natural non-caloric sweetening tritopenoid glycosides contained in the fruit. It's actually very sweet. It's 80% of the mongrosides, the fruits, they're having this actually. It's more than 250 times sweeter than sugar. It's very sweet, it's actually. And then it is actually good for the diabetes management. It's preventing diabetic actually. It's substitute for the sugar, substantial amount of the amino acids, the mineral, vitamins, and the fructose. It is an analgesic, it's an anti-oxidative, anti-diabetic, and also nephroprotective action. It is good for the respiratory system, for the digestive, diabetes management. I missed another one is the nephroprotective for the kidney management. For taking care of the kidney, even though we say it can actually preventing the diabetic, even though it is a very sweetening fruit, but it's actually helping on the diabetes. So diabetic patient is actually can consume our lignosus product, right? And then we move on. The next one is the Mente haplocalix. So it's hard to pronounce actually. It is actually a mint herb. It is cool and aromatic in nature. It has a very wise function to diffuse the wind, heat, refresh the mind, and improve the eyesight. It soothes a sore throat. And for colds flu caused by the wind headache, red eyes, pharyngitis, canker, nasal rash, measles, and the fullness. And any discomfort in the chest and hypochondria, basically can consume this. For colds, it's really helpful. And then it stimulates and inhibit the nerve anti-allergic as an antipyretic and an analgesic action. It diminishes all the inflammation to fight. It has the capability to fight the microbes, the antibacterial, and then can be used for the upper respiratory tract infections, and also its anti-infective effects on the hemorrhoids and the anal fissures. So we might have seen some people or patients with the hemorrhoids and anal fissures. They actually really suffering, and then we struggle with the pain to manage the pain. Then have to use certain um, apply gel or something like that related to the steroidal to relief from the pain. So what we can see from here is the actually this plant, these herbs is actually helping on the hemorrhoids and the anal fissures. So it is invigorate the stomach and dispel the wind. So how it's actually comforting the digestive systems? Actually, it burns and stimulates the mouth mucosa. It promotes the saliva, and then it enhances the appetite, increase the blood in the gastric mucosa, and it also improves the digestive function, help in digestion. It's help in the bloating condition when the people end up with the hiccups and the stomach cramps and also the bad breath. The moment the colon is actually help, and then the breath also will be in a good situation. Some people have this bad breath, and then they will cover with a certain lozenges or some mint to help on the issue. But what we can see by consuming the lignosus plus is actually helping on the bad breath as well, because it's tackling the digestive system directly. All right. And then we move on the next one is the Platycodon grandiflorus. Okay, it is actually a species of a rich herbaceous flowering perennial plant, which is well known as a balloon flower also, which call it a Chinese bellflower. Okay, and then it has a very wide range of health benefit to fight a cancer cell, and also it is a neuroprotective activity, antiviral and lipid lowering to control the cholesterol level in the body. Okay, the roots actually contains a large amount of carbohydrates, and the saponin from the plant used to help applicants such as vaccine adjuvants. Actually, they use this the extract to create some vaccines for certain vaccination purposes, and it inhibit the gastric secretion, have also protective and the healing properties. It can treat the hyperlipidemia, okay, the excessive lipid, and then the hypertension due to the hyperlipid, and then the hypertension will occur, and then the diabetes and also the obesity. And it is anti-inflammatory, it's anti-allergy, ability to augment immune response, ability to stimulate apoptosis in the skin cell, and it is anti-obesity and also anti-oxidative. So I think things are repeating and repeating and repeating from the earlier herbs until now. We already come to the 14th point of the herbs. I think the things is actually almost same. It have all the components to help the body systems. It also treat the bronchitis, asthma, pulmonary tuberculosis, and the inflammatory diseases. I have a positive effect associated with the COPD, and also is a expectorant and the antitussive to treat the cough, colds, sore throat, tonsillitis, and the chest congestions. It can treat excessive mucus formation in the throat, oral abscess in the mouth. Okay, see, it can treat actually a mucus formation in the throat, and the oral abscess is actually it's like a oral cavity. It's related to the oral ulcers, something like that. We actually can treat it. It is anti-proliferative activities in the human tumor cells, immunostimulants, and the rest of the active components which can help the healthy body systems. Okay, so we move on the next one is the Prunus armeniaceus. It's actually 192.0 mg. We use the cement pot. It's actually a apricot seed, widely used in the TCM, and it has found as oriental medicine for treatment of the pain and the inflammatory. They have a very good biocomponents whereby it's very rich in the carotenoids and vitamins, mono and the polysaccharides. Also the polyphenols, the fatty acids of steroid derivative and cyanogenic glucosides. Okay. It's very details in the components, but we can't go through details on that. We can see the important on the prunus is actually is its activity. It is antimicrobial, it's anti-mutagenic. That means it can control the infections on the bacteria. It's also anti-cancer. It actually stops from the spreading of the cancer cells. It also inhibits the activity against the several enzymes. Also, the important part is it is a cardioprotective and the antioxidants activity. Okay, so this prunus is actually an important fruit. Tree species found in the temperature regions of the Himachal Pradesh in India actually, and it very wise with the phytochemistry and the biological activity. It has been reported on the oriental experimental in the medicine in the Google Scholar. All right, we see on that there's another one. Only one of the studies have been made. This is the research on the review on the phytochemical, the biological screening, and the importance of the wild apricots of the prunus fruit. Actually, they used this and then they induced hepatic steatosis and damage was found significantly decreased. What is that actually? For the lab mice, actually detoxified the liver and then they used these herbs to check the biological screening. That means the test has been done and then they see there's some damage has been found in the liver and is a decrease significantly. So suggestions of the dietary intake of this prunus can reduce the risk of the liver steatosis and damage caused by the free radicals. It's actually the hepatoprotective effect. It can actually protect our liver. So that's the basic to say. It's good. And then we see 192.0 mg has been added in our formulation with DXN lignosus plus. Right? And we move on. Next one is the Stickopus variegatus. This is the gamat. I think all of us know, especially Malaysians should be knows this. We are very rich in gamat. It's actually a sea cucumber. Everyone will think that come to save a sea cucumber with that is not a plant. It's actually one of the microorganisms. Okay, it's a living creatures in the sea. So it's actually relatively very large and variable. It valued as a food and as a medicine, importantly in the traditional medicines. In Malaysia, it's very famous. On the also in Indonesia. Okay. This they prepared as a tonic for treating the wounds, the gastritis, ulcers, and the pain. It contains calories, very lower calorie. That is the beauty part of this microorganism actually on the Stickopus. Okay, it has a very low calorie, and then the protein also. It's the fat is less than a gram actually, very low protein. And then the proteins contain the fat which is less than a gram. Okay, and then the vitamins A, B2, and then the B3, calcium and magnesium is very rich in Stickopus. It helps to reduce many chronic diseases, including the heart disease and neurodegenerative condition. It is rich in the tryptophan glycosides, which possess antifungal, anti-tumor, and immune boosting property. It's really benefiting joint diseases like osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. It has a very high cancer fight property. And then they have done the study on the test tube. It had a toxic effect on the 5 types of the cancer, including breast, prostate, and the skin melanoma. It inhibits the bacterial growth, like just now, the bacteria is like E. coli, and then the rest of the things, which is actually stay in our nutritive zone, in the stomach zone. Okay, it can fight the Candida albicans yeast that is infectious. It reduces the oxidative stress, liver damage, improve kidney function, promote the vitality, strengthen the body after the illness or surgery, and it reduces the fatigue. So overall, can be said that it's actually good to promote our systems, which is helping strengthen the body systems, especially after the illnesses or surgery. So it's very familiar. It's in Malaysia. I've been seen also for any treating wound, especially for the wound or any cuts. Actually, they will make decoctions, the formula oil that we made with the gamma to treat the uh, wound or any pain related something after the surgery they use this. Okay, and we come to the final part, which is the last herbs that I found has been used in lignosus plus, which is we use cordyceps sinensis of 189.0 mg. I use the mycelium part especially to mix in the formulations. It is actually a parasites fungi that grows on the insects. In TCM, it used for centuries to treat the fatigue, sickness, and kidney disease, and people with a low sex drive. It's actually increased the body productions of the molecule adenosine triphosphate, the ATP. Actually, in the cordyceps, they found more than 400 species has been discovered, but two actually have become the focus of the health. One is the Cordyceps sinensis and the Cordyceps militaris. It increased the body production of the molecules, the ATP, and it is actually essential for delivering energy for the muscle. The ATP is actually uh, essential, is deliver the energy for the muscle body systems. And it is an anti-aging property. It's reduce fatigue and boost strength and high antioxidants. It actually have the components to improve the memory. It is an anti-tumor effect, inhibit the growth of many types of human cancer cells, including the lung, colon, skin, liver cancers. It also reverses the side effects associated with the many forms of the cancer therapy. Like what are the cancer therapy is like a leukopenia or the leukemia. It actually can help for type 2 diabetes. It helps by the blood sugar levels within a healthy range. How it do actually, it mimics the actions of the insulin in the body. So cordyceps sinensis actually have this capability to mimic the actions of the insulin. So it will function similarly as how the insulin is giving in the body. Right? In several studies in diabetic mice, cordyceps actually shown a result to decrease the blood sugar level very significantly, and some evidence actually suggests that they may also help to protect against the kidney disease. Kidney disease is actually a complication from the diabetes mellitus, one of the macrovascular effects from the diabetes mellitus, and they have found another review from the 22 studies, including 1,743 people with a chronic kidney disease. Those who took cordyceps experienced improve on the creatinine and the EGFR reading. So this creatinine and EGFR actually we can see from the blood test, which is telling the reading on the creatinine, the reading on the kidney. Okay, so you see the studies actually showing the improvements on the 1,000 over people with CKD, with the chronic kidney disease. So showing that the cordyceps sinensis is actually a powerful medium to control on the CKD patient and as well the diabetic patient. So on the heart health, actually the benefit of this fungi actually becoming increased apparently. In fact, in China, cordyceps are approved for treatment of arrhythmia, whereby the arrhythmia is a condition where the heartbeat is actually too slow, too fast, or irregular. It's not regular actually. It helps on that also, and it fight the inflammation. Okay. So overall, what you can see, the targeted paradigm here, I see actually cordyceps sinensis is very helpful for cancer management, to balance the endocrine systems, and then to help for any cardiovascular diseases because it protect the heart and also the diabetes management. So cordyceps sinensis actually a very very wise in Chinese traditional medicines, and I've been found our DXN is actually we try to formulate in many types of herbs that they found, and they found the components can be mixed with uh, uh, the herbs, what is it, something like a lignosus, where we can see the cordyceps sinensis is actually uh, has been formulated. So how we can actually benefit from all of this formulation from the DX, and actually either we go for we take this the cordyceps sinensis as a standalone supplements or in the mixture like in the lignosus plus syrup. So I hope everyone actually can be understand or can be uh, taken into an info from the sharing that I have been made so far with the 17 important herbs that make DXN lactose plus. So I would like to emphasize on this DXN, why this DXN lactose plus is became our choice here. I see a multiple health benefit. It's not only for cough, actually it's benefiting in many body systems. And then it is a natural expectorant. It's a mucokinetics and mucolytic. Just now, like what I shared about the salbutamol and the promexin, actually the important part on the bronchodilator and the mucolytics. They're helping on the respiratory systems. It is a herbal medicinal base and it's a natural decoction. It's a non-narcotic drug. There's no drowsy or any side effect because there's no any drugs that's been mixed here. And then it is a natural antitussive, cough suppressants. It is a pharyngeal demulcents lozenges. And then it is a first and special formulation with TMM. What the TMM is a tiger milk mushroom. It's the first special formulation. Again, DXN is the first one they found this formulation. And then there's a special formulation not only with the tiger milk mushroom, but we added with the other 16 important herbs, which I see the most highest is the glycerizer glabra, the first one, which is about 223.0 mg. Okay, and then it has this oral health formula, not only for the cough. I come again, it has a multiple health benefit and is benefiting for many fundamental systems in the body. So finally, which is really taking my attention here is actually it can become incorporated for gynotherapy systems. Okay, lignosus plus DXN lignosus plus syrup actually is one of the incorporated medium for gynotherapy. Okay, and I just want to highlight on this both things, salbutamol and albuterol or bromexin. This salbutamol, albuterol, or bromexin is actually, as we discussed just now, is actually both used for treatment of the cough in common coughing medicine. In conventional way, there is many brands, which is I cannot address it now. Actually, they use this salbutamol and the bromexin as the common antitussive and the common mucolytics, which is actually have these side effects. So I would like to emphasize again, the DXL lignosus plus actually naturally have these mucokinetics and bronchodilators effects. So it is actually a bronchial secretion enhancer, and also it can actually manage and stimulate the cough center suppressors in the brain. So it is actually naturally happen, not to by any synthetic way or any what to say, it's like a modern ways of usage. It's 100% is a natural, and it is really can be adapted by the body, right? So I would like to add this with our gynotherapy systems. So I would suggest that lignosus plus is incorporated to gynotherapy, and in our every intake of the gynotherapy supplements, we actually would suggest to mix together with this DXN lignosus plus together, whereby it will become one of the important mixture in our daily intakes. So we have to recommend to everyone, our members, our family members, our friends, for all patients about the DXN lignosus plus. It have to be taken regularly, not treated as a coughing syrup, whereby a patient or a person when have a cough syrup, they will try to make it as emergency medicine to stop the cough. Actually, our lignosus syrup is actually not to treat us that way. Actually, it has to be incorporated together in the chemotherapy intake, because every regular intake actually helping the systems, especially what we can see on the digestive systems. So people have any acidity issue, dyspepsia issue, any constipation issues. So they can just consume this DXN lignosus plus regularly together with our therapy system, RTGL or spirulina, something like that. Okay. And the rest of systems, what we can see, it actually have a very wise benefits in the as protective for the lungs. It's actually a very large scale of benefit for lung care system. So we should consider this as one of the important additional things that we can add up in our gynotherapy system. Okay, try to incorporate it together with the gynotherapy system. Make it like a regular intake. So that is my suggestions, and I find it in many ways. I found many testimonies from my patients as well. I've given to many people who's suffering from constipation and the acidity issue, uh, indigestion issue, and as well for the uh, oral toxic patients. So we are having abscess in the mouth, oral ulcers. We have to we made it in the decoction. So once with the Ayurveda method, whereby we call it Gandusha system. The Gandusha is actually a mixing of the oil. We make it an oil pulling method. They will keep oil in the mouth, and then we just stay for some time, and then we just have to spit it out to remove all the toxins from the oral system. Okay, so what we did, we can just mix with the external lignosus together with our Gano massage oil, and then you just make it as a decoction and make this Gandusha process. Also can be done. Okay, so this is the overall benefits that I found, and I'm very glad to share with you guys today. And thank you so much. And this is my findings that I found that so in any cases that sometimes we will have this problem with any respiratory issues, for example, like a cough and fever. We will always seek for some medications to stop it. But what I would suggest is don't against the systems. Our body is a nature, and the moment we against the nature, then the disease will prompt. So I would suggest the DXN Lignosus Plus is very rich with all the elements to help our systems. Okay, and then make it as a regular intake in our together with our gonotherapy systems. And I really thanks for DXN to found such beautiful creations of this Lignosus Plus syrup. So thank you so much, and I would like to pass the session to Zachary. Hello, Zachary.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor, for the great sharing on lignosus syrup. But maybe some of our members still uh, new to this product, although it's been 3 4 years in the market. And then is this the ubat batuk lah with we can call it ubat batuk, Doctor? Hmm.
Yeah.
Ubat batuk. Ada sirap batuk, right? Normally lah. Dia ada terms overdose tak? Overdose.
Even the
Oh,
overdose of any effect by the overdose, is it?
yeah, correct.
Okay, dia tak ada apa-apa any effect of the overdose. Actually, it's a very general herbs that be consumed by even from the child for the elder people. Okay, dia tak ada apa-apa side effect. Yeah, suddenly we take one bottle silap, minum pun dia tak akan jadi apa-apa actually.
Wow, recommended. Okay, so no problem. Just a normal intake. Tapi janganlah buat minum hari-hari ya, teh. Boleh tahan tu. Alright. So, ladies and gentlemen, any question related to this lignosus plus syrup, you can ask in the comment area. Okay. Got one question. When will we get that product here in Philippines? Okay, no problem. Just create a demand. So this product will be anywhere soon. Okay. So any more question? Anything? Because DSN also have a few products combining lignosus ataupun cendawan susu harimau. Okay, kita ada lignopine. Okay, and also kita ada ligno L powder. All is the base of cendawan susu harimau, lignosus. So actually the powerful of this product because it's combining all together is 17 ingredient or 17 herbs that make it more powerful. Not only for your cold or respiratory but for overall uh, health. Okay. Thank you for the great sharing. No problem, Doctor. Okay, thank you for the great sharing. Right. Any more question or you can compliment for this great sharing because very beautiful product and this product knowledge only available in DSM Malaysia Facebook. So for those who are really enjoy and understand the whole function or benefit of ingredient in Rhinoceros plus syrup, you can share this video, okay, to your Facebook or anywhere, no problem, because this knowledge is very great. So I think no more question, but we hope you can find and try this Rhinoceros plus syrup. Okay, and then organic lah, we can call it organic ubat batuk. Okay, doctor.
All right.
Before we end our program, so maybe a few words from you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm taking this opportunity to thank of you, actually, Mr. Zachary, for giving me this space for sharing, and then for DXN as well, for all my leaders and all my members in the northern region of Malaysia. So I think I'm taking this opportunity to highlight again on the product of the Lignosus Plus syrup. And then not only we try, as I said, just make it as a compulsory product in our chronotherapy systems and on your regular intakes. It's actually much benefiting for our body systems. Okay, maintain a good health, and then thanks for your anticipations, and good night. Thank you, Zachary.
All right, thank you once again, Mr. or Dr. Ganesh, being as our guest speaker for tonight. So, guys, if you really want more product knowledge, please request. We are open to have a good guest speaker to deliver a good knowledge of product knowledge to you all the SM members, especially in Malaysia. And then I think that's all for tonight. So hope to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, don't forget we have guest speaker from Philippines, Crown Ambassador Mr. Marquin Lopez at 8 p.m. Tomorrow is 8 p.m. Okay, so see you tomorrow. And please stay at home. Okay, social distancing. All right, and then of course stay healthy with DSN. Hope to see you again. Okay, see you all at the top. And good morning, DSN. Bye bye.